Hello guys, welcome to our channel. So I have a great person here, Joseph from
New York.
New York. Greetings to wonderful New York, by the way. So first of all, how are you, Joseph?
I'm doing wonderful. Wonderful.
Okay.
Getting ready to leave. I'm at the end of my journey. Things are really good.
Great, great. So just for information, so you choose which method?
Precise method.
Precise on your femur?
On the femur, yes. Femur only. So bilateral.
Okay, bilateral. What was your starting height and what is your current height?
Starting height was 160 and my current height should be 168.2, but I have a little bit of lordosis, so maybe a centimeter less for now. Yeah.
So about the lordosis, we did a great video. Just we explain why lordosis happen or restrictions. The most asked question is why you cannot stay straight right now.
It's because I have lordosis, which basically means there's a lot of tightness in this area because all of the muscles are connected, the quadriceps, the hip flexors, stuff like that. It's not painful, but it does make it a bit awkward, but I just need some time to exercise, get physiotherapy, and I'll straighten out.
I really appreciate it. Exactly, guys. So after the surgery, that's really important to know because a lot of people thinking like, wow, he got 8.2 centimeters, which is 3.5 inches, I guess, right?
Yeah, a little over 3, yeah.
Yeah, or over 3. So, but yeah, he will be like that forever. No, that's absolutely wrong. Like such a restrictions is absolutely normal because he lengthened his limb. So, which means like the soft tissue as well at the same time. We have, for example, patients with lordosis, like they couldn't stay straight like me right now. For example, my case was also, I did the tibia and I was always like on the walker, a little bit lazy, unfortunately, and I was like that. So now, as you can see, I can stay completely straight. So also we have patients, for example, they have restrictions on his muscle, like quadriceps or hamstring. For example, we have like, they couldn't stretch his leg, you know, like they say like that, or we have patients, they cannot bend his legs, or we have also patients, especially with the tibia, they have ballerina syndrome, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
So, but such a restrictions is absolutely normal after a few months, so he will be definitely get back to normal, and he can enjoy his life with a straight back, and it's under your hand. Right now, you are the boss of your body. So, well, before the video, we analyzed together your before and after picture. Can you tell me your feelings?
Well, one thing I was thinking about is if you look at the before photo, I'm standing there and I'm smiling. I don't know why I was smiling. My short height was no laughing matter. But apparently, maybe I was excited to get the surgery, finally make my dream come true. But yeah, the transformation was really, really incredible. I think my proportions look so great. And just really happy with the result. Yeah, it all kind of worked out, so I'm really happy about that, yeah.
What exactly will change after your height is changed, you know?
I've thought about this a lot,
Okay.
and I think that several things will change, but I think if I could boil it down to one thing, I think it would simply be when I go out into the world and I meet new people, I won't be so self-conscious about my height. I won't, because before the surgery, for many years, I always felt like I was being judged for my height. To give a really recent example, my brother got married back in November, and I had to go to the tailor to get a suit to go to the thing. I don't have any proof of it, but I just felt the tailor was like judging me. He thought I was like, oh, how am I supposed to find pants for such a short man? How can I find clothes for such a short man? And I just felt that was just one example. I just always felt like I was being judged, and maybe they were, maybe they weren't. But that was like how I always felt. And now that I'm still short, so I'm basically like 5'6" now, I'm still short, but I feel it's a more normal short than what I was before. So I think that if I could pinpoint one thing that I think will change, and who knows what else will change, I don't know. But I think that just like how I feel inside will definitely change. I feel a lot more comfortable in the world when I go back home.
What you can say about your proportion? Are you happy right now?
Honestly, like I think my proportions look good, but I've been at Livelifetaller for 3.5 months, and I've seen a lot of patients come and go. Basically, everyone I see, their proportions look good. Like, and I tell them, I said, Mel, when they finish, like, your proportions look great. Like, I remember Eddie was here. He was in one of your other videos. I was like, Ed, your proportions look good. Like, so many people in their proportions, they just look really good. And I think that, like, people might think, like, oh, if I get limblengthening surgery, I'm going to be like a T-Rex and stuff like that, look all funny. But I've seen so many dozens of patients, and I think they look really good. And bring it back to me, I think I look really good. I like the long legs, the longer legs. I think they really suit me well because I have the long arms. Even after the surgery, my wingspan is still longer than my height. So I still, I still could do like more. Like I could have even longer legs and I would still look proportional. So I'm kind of lucky in that sense, yeah.
Joseph, I did, as you know, 3 limb lengthening surgeries. You
Yeah.
did 1. Do you think that we are not normal, or I mean, because because people, you know, like when I see some comments, hey, how you can take your life to risk and even pay
Yeah.
money for it? You are not normal. You should
Yeah.
go and look for a psychologist and not
Yeah.
orthopedist. You know, what you can say about it?
Yeah, when I go onto social media or YouTube or whatever, and I see the comments of the videos, I'm like, oh, this is a great video, and it's just nothing but negative comments. But like the people, they're ignorant. They don't know.
Exactly, because they are saying that people who is doing the limb lengthening surgery, they are not normal. I mean, you know, I did 3 limb lengthening surgery. I think that I'm normal than a lot of people's, because I knew exactly what I want. You know, what I mean? So that's the most important thing. And to be honest, Joseph, right now I feel so great.
Mm-hmm.
If people are saying that I'm not, like, we are not normal to do the surgery,
Okay.
yes, I'm not, because I feel good. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I think that like people who say like it's not normal don't have enough information, because the transformation can be a bit like extreme, like before and after, as you've seen. But I think that once you understand that it is like, of course, every surgery has complications, but it is a relatively safe procedure. You're here, you're under supervision. You know, I've spoken to a number of patients, and I try to get their story, and sometimes they volunteer it, but some of them are really suffering mentally because of their height. So for them, it's a great relief to do something like this. And the people in the comments, I just don't think they like understand, because a lot of people, they might not be short, or they might be short but happy with their height, and they're just like, it just doesn't like register to them. But for the people who want it, it makes a lot of sense. Like I include myself. Like I remember when I heard about this place and you guys and the surgery, I was like, this is something I just have to do. And even like a month or 2 before I left, when I was like, you know, telling people, and they were like trying to like talk me out of it, I was like, this is just something I have to do, you know? So I guess like just to address those negative people, I think that they just don't know what they're talking about. And if they're satisfied with their height, that, you know, good for them. But there are people who really want to make a change, and they are short, and they understand that like it is difficult mentally, you know. So yeah.
Well, I mean, to being short, I don't think so that that makes people happy. To be honest, I mean, even a lot of women suffer from the height. This is, I think, you know, some people is tall, right? That's the reason why they cannot understand why we are doing such a surgery.
There's like a common comment that I see like on the social media where it's like, this surgery is unnecessary, tall people. I see people write that. Yeah.
It's such a great point. And another problem, which unfortunately blocks people to being successful, is the fear.
So for me, I didn't have fear, because not only had I never had surgery before, I had anesthesia. I really wanted to do this. Like I remember I put my deposit down in like December of last year, and then the year afterwards, I spent like a good 9 months getting in shape, building up my flexibility. Right. I visualized it. I was very, very motivated. So for me, when the time came to do the surgery, I was like, let's go, let's do this, you know.
I was even happy,
right? Yeah, they were like, your surgery's at 6 a.m. tomorrow. Like, okay, great, I'll be up, I'll be there. So I was very motivated to do it. So when people talk about fear, I really just, I wish I could say something to that about that, but for me, fear just wasn't present, because I was aware that there was pain, but I was willing to go through it, you know. So I really can't speak to people's fear. Yeah.
But Joseph, I mean, you know, I'm always saying also to my family, to my son, you know, like also to my wife, you are your own enemy.
Yeah,
you know
very
what
often,
I mean, right?
very
You
often,
are
yeah.
only your limits. I mean,
yeah.
So of course, fear is a normal feeling, but the fear should be not blocked from the reality, and should you not block from your success. You know,
I think
as long as they do that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I think it's a lot of like your self-talk, because you can talk yourself into or out of anything. So if you see the surgery and you get scared by it, you can start talking yourself out of it, saying like, oh, it's gonna hurt, or oh, I have to be away for X. You will find like any reason not to do it. But if you're like me and you're like, I have to do this, you will like move mountains to get it done. So it all depends on like your mentality, how you, like your self-talk and stuff like that, you know? Because again, like I was saying, like the 9 months that I was preparing, like every single day I was like, you know, you have to get your flexibility up. You have to like get in shape. You have to be prepared, you know, because it's an important thing.
Exactly. This is a job really, there's really a job of both sides. That's
I
really
agree,
important.
yeah.
For example, Joseph have a great bone healing. So, and everything is great. I mean, he looks great. So that's the most important thing. No sign of infection or inflammation,
Correct.
which also can happen.
Correct, yeah.
Fortunately, it's a surgery. It's a hard surgery. I mean, it's not
Yeah.
it's not an easy surgery. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? You understand really
Yeah.
the logic behind that's the most
Yeah.
important thing, Joseph. I'm really proud of you, by the way.
Thank you, thank you.
And yeah, so now it's a time for you to enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
The most important thing is, guys, I'm always telling to my patients here on the videos, like, do not suffer forever, just suffer for a few months. When I say suffer, for me, it's the suffering not here like crying or screaming or something like that because of pain. It's just you are out of your comfort zone, because you have to imagine it's not like during lengthening, which is a fact, is that your sleeping is not comfortable, your walking is not comfortable. I mean, it's different than your normal life.
Yeah.
Just a quick example. Imagine one day before the surgery, you was able to do everything by yourself, walking easily,
Yeah.
and you know what I
Yeah.
mean. One day later, like after the surgery, after the first, like with the first walking, you try to walk, you learn walking, and you move as a grandpa. You know what I mean?
Yeah, as an old
So,
person, yeah.
Exactly.
That's
And
basically
this
it, yeah.
makes like a little bit mentally shock. For example, I did the lengthening 3 times. To be honest, I regret 3 times. And I always ask the question to myself, Sedat, what you are doing here? Why you are putting yourself in such a situation, and even you pay money for that? So that's the thing, what I mean with suffering for few months, because you have to stop your normal life. Just you have to be gone through in a process, but then you will enjoy it forever. So can you explain the word suffering deeper?
It's such a funny word to hear associated with this because I'm different. I did the precise bilateral, and I remember I personally wouldn't use suffering for this process, and even the word pain. When my physiotherapist was like, "Oh, do you feel pain?" I was like, "I don't even like to use that word," and the reason why is because it was never like a really sharp pain. When I think of pain, I think of like a toothache or something like that, or just when I had this joke where I would say to people on the phone, be like, "Oh, are you in really bad pain?" Well, no, it's basically just discomfort. But I would say to them, the most pain I ever experienced, the sharpest pain, was when I accidentally ran over my foot with my walker. Like that's like the sharpest pain I experienced. But the rest of it was just like discomfort and not to gloat, but I'd never experienced any nerve pain either. So because I was very on my stretching. But it was basically just like stretching pain, discomfort, and specifically towards the end, when I finished up, I got an X-ray, I was at like 7.8, and I was in physiotherapy, and I was seeing like how stiff everything was getting and how like my walking was, and the body was telling me that like, okay, you're basically at the end, you don't have a lot of millimeters left. But it was never like extreme pain, wake up in the middle of the night like, oh my God, you know, it was never like that. It was just like, I mean, the best word is like just discomfort. It's very hard to describe it, but it's just like a discomfort, a tightness. Sometimes in the middle of the night, I wake up and my legs feel very hot. Yeah. But again, is that pain? You know, I don't know. Is that suffering?
Discomfort,
I mean, it's just discomfort.
The only word for it.
I mean, yeah, the sleep. Sometimes it was good, sometimes it was bad. But I think the part of it was that I wanted to get up during the night because I need to like circulate the blood. But again, is that suffering? Is that pain? I mean, I think people have to decide for themselves. But in conclusion, I wouldn't say this is like a suffering. It was a experience where I went through a lot of suffering. But by the same time, but that's me. But I know there are people out there. I mean, we're talking about it that they're not very strong mentally, and they don't have a strong motivation to get through it. I think, and I'll just say one last thing about this. One of my takeaways from this was that, because I don't know if I should say this or not, but there are some people who they couldn't handle it. They couldn't handle the process, and they probably stopped lengthening. I feel they didn't reach their full potential, so they stopped. So I personally, one of my biggest takeaways is that for the people who do this and they meet their goal, they want it bad. You know, they don't like kind of want it, they want it bad. And I was someone who wanted it bad, so I stuck with it and got through it.
Also, unfortunately, a lot of people have the mindset like thinking like, okay, when I do the limb lengthening surgery, everything will change. But the problem is, if you have a problem here and if you cannot change your mindset, even if you got some 10 inches result, unfortunately nothing will change. And weak peoples is always a problem. Also in a relationship, in a business, here also. Yeah, unfortunately, my biggest recommendation is, by the way, I appreciate it that you touched the point, for people who is really like not mentally strong, you know, or they don't have a really goal, please don't do the surgery. I mean,
Yeah.
you know, like spend your money for other things, you know, I'm always saying
Yeah.
this, but not definitely for the limb lengthening surgery. What we need here is that you should be bring discipline. That's the
Yeah.
most important thing, right?
Yeah, I think that it would be ideal for someone who's already has like a workout routine, even if you haven't been like working out your whole life. Like for example, like I said earlier, like I really wasn't in good shape. Like when I put my deposit down, I wasn't in very good shape, but I got into good shape. I got into a routine. You know, I built my discipline. You know.
And this is the most important thing, Joseph. And you know exactly like what you want. And yeah, we thanks God we reach a great result.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
precise 8.2,
Yeah.
and
Yes.
your bone healing is more than amazing. As
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So and yeah, discipline is very important point, and also be patient. That's really important because unfortunately,
Yeah, that's another
Joseph,
one, yeah.
we have sometimes patient. I have to reach X centimeters or inches, like let's say 8
Yeah.
in 2 months.
Yeah.
I don't have any other options or solutions.
Yeah.
I mean, if the patient is making like such a press, you know, pressure,
Yeah.
of course
They-
we will have problem.
Yeah,
You know what I
because
mean?
like their brain might want them to reach, you know, like 8 centimeters in like 6 weeks or something like that, but the body didn't get that message, you know.
Exactly.
So the body's going to be like, "Whoa, what's going on here?"
I mean, if you ask me, can you reach 10? You can. Can you reach 8? Yes, but the problem is if your body can really reach the
Yeah.
such a goal.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the most
100%,
important
yeah.
thing. Please listen and follow the instructions of your doctor or the team what you are choosing. That's really
Yeah.
important.
Throughout the journey, especially when I was talking to Dr. Halil, we were talking about things, I always said, listen, you know, I always want to be safe. You know, I don't want to do anything too crazy. If you give me advice, because they might say, oh, maybe you could, you know, lengthen 3 times a day or 4 times a day, whatever. I forget what specifically it was, but your body's going to change throughout the process. You're going to grow, experience hardships. Pains will come, pains will go, and you'll talk about stuff. And I just always said, like, you know, I always want to do whatever's safe because there are patients who want to push it. But I reiterate to whether it's the physiotherapist or the doctor or the nurses or whoever said, listen, I'm not one of those crazy patients. Like I want to do it slow and steady, safe. You know, so that was my perspective. Yeah.
And unfortunately, because of that patient's problem happened, and and everybody's thinking like, okay, the limb lengthening surgery is the problem. But no, unfortunately, patient is always the problem. For
Yeah.
example, Joseph.
Yeah.
I mean, you are a still current patient here. You
Yeah.
are leaving soon, I guess,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So
tomorrow.
tomorrow. So okay, great. Now
Yeah.
finally you can
Yeah,
you miss your home
I'm
place.
free. I'm free. Yeah.
So you know, I want to ask you something. For example, yesterday a patient wrote me from United States, and he told me like, so I follow you guys. You are the only place with sharing a lot of patients, and which makes me really like which feels me confident and blah blah blah. But why people's is also talking some people's negative about you guys? So what is the problem exactly? So right now you are here in front of me. What do you think? What is your
Yeah.
feedback about it?
I mean, there are a lot of patients that come through here. You do like a lot of volume. And when I talk to some of the patients, some patients, they had different expectations, you know, and maybe it wasn't what they expected. Like some patients, a lot of people come through here have money, and they used to live in the high life. And to live like this, it's like a downgrade. It's almost like insulting that they have to live like this. So they could have a lot of discontent about that, and they want it to be over. They want to leave. They want to go back to their lifestyle. But there are other patients who who on the opposite side of the spectrum, and they don't want to leave. You know, they just want to be here forever. I won't name names, but they just want to be here forever. You know, because they really like it here. So yeah, as far as people talking negative about this place, I think that let's say you had 90% of people who are positive and only 10% of people who are negative. That 10% is such a large amount because you do so many that those voices might get amplified. So that's my best theory. You know, if I was to guess, I mean, you know, my experience overall was good. You know, so yeah. So I mean, I had my complications and my difficulties here because I was here over 3 months. You know, it happens, but it all kind of worked out in the end. And I'm just one of the people who, so far, things seem to be good. And I reached my goal. My legs are straight, I feel good, you know, and I'm just looking forward to going back and recovering. So, I mean, for me, like I had an overall positive experience. And I mean, nothing's ever perfect,
Of
you
course,
know,
it's
but
impossible.
I had like an overall like positive experience. And if some people had a negative experience, like it's their right to have that and have that opinion, you know. So that's really the best I can say. Yeah, I mean, like you know, complications definitely happen. I mean, I had a complication, you know. I both of my nails stopped distracting, you know, and. It's obviously not ideal, and it actually really doesn't happen. Like I talk to other patients, like it never, like to have both of them stop working, it doesn't happen. So I kind of got unlucky in that sense, but I got lucky in the sense that like as soon as it was discovered, they were like, okay, you're having surgery tomorrow to fix it. And they're like, oh, actually it's the day after, you know, because that's scheduled at the hospital. But 2 days later.
Yeah.
And it was just like no questions asked. They didn't ask for any money or anything. Just the surgery was performed. I went to the hospital. Everything was provided for, and I was back a couple of days later. And even because I lost time, like I had to extend my stay by 3 weeks, and it was all compensated. I got not only the time, but the physiotherapy sessions. So I was definitely like taken care of. I mean, would it have been ideal to not have the complication? I mean, of course, but like sometimes these things happen. And even just going outside of Precise, like sometimes even like the LON patients, sometimes they get complications too. But when I talk to them and I ask like, how did it happen? Most of the time, it's nothing that that either the doctor or the patient could have done. Sometimes it just happens, but it gets addressed, you know, which is good. So it's definitely, I think it's a good thing to have that confidence as a prospective patient to be like, listen, it's possible a complication will happen. It could be something that you're totally not expecting, but like it'll be taken care of. So I think that's a very good, I think you could like definitely go to Livelifetaller with confidence, knowing in that regard, like you'll be okay. Like as long as you didn't do something crazy, like jump off a building or something like that. But yeah.
I really appreciate it,
Yeah.
Joseph. It was a really nice video for me.
Yeah.
So, and I'm really happy to see you're changing as well.
Yeah, me too.
So, and yeah, after a few months, you will start to walk normally.
Yes.
And then you can say, wow,
Yes.
it's worth it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like, especially once you go outside and once you enjoy your life, start to enjoy, you will feel that people will also take you different.
I think so too.
So because fact is, height is important because
it is.
know, I mean, if you look at
I watched this video on YouTube, right, where they did an experiment where they go to a busy part of New York City, Times Square, and they had this experiment where a tall man walks through the crowd and a short man walks through the crowd. And when the tall man walks through the crowd, everyone moves out of the way. But when the short man goes through, he gets like bumped like that. They like counted how many people like bumped into this tall man, how many people bumped into the short man, and it was a lot more for the short man.
Of course, I mean.
So yeah, people do treat you differently. It seems so like primitive that we would judge people on like how tall they are, but that's just how humans are.
Joseph, before the limb-lengthening surgery, I was always thinking, Sedat, why you are doing limb-lengthening surgery? You know, like, of course, it's my life, it's my body at the end. And I was thinking, okay, if you reach like 180, 177, oh my God, it's like such a great height and you can be proud of yourself even if you talk about your height.
Yeah.
But you know what happened? Nobody is asking my height. I mean, I never heard that, hey, outside, once I met them, Sedat, what is your height? They're always saying, hey, your proportion is great, the pants looks great, your height is great.
Yeah.
You know, so then I noticed that, okay, hey, the height, the number, what we reach here, doesn't matter. So you have to look for the proportion. When you can show the picture like before, after of Joseph, you can see that you are looking fresh. And as I said, you make the best version of yourself, which is the most important thing.
If you're ready, I will open.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay.
Okay, wow.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
You cannot stay straight. I mean, even for this situation, Joseph, you look amazing. Your arm in the general proportion, because your arms was long and they blocked your whole body, right? So, and because of that, you also look like shorter than you are. Yeah. So, look at that, please.
Looks much better.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, your body can show us, hey, I have legs.
Yeah.
You can see my legs, you know what I mean? So, it changed your proportion. Look at your upper body and head.
Yeah.
They change also. But, of course, we don't touch it because of like, it's an illusion, you know, because you are lifting up, I mean, you look more muscular.
Yeah. But if you focus just on the legs look so nice and straight and long.
Exactly.
They just look like such nice legs.
Look at that.
Yeah,
This is
and that's the same pair of pants. If you look at the bottom, like
Oh my God, okay.
on the original,
Wow.
we had to roll the pants
Oh
up.
my God.
But in this, it's just straight.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so the pants fit a lot better.
Okay.
Then I noticed just simple things in my life. For example, you are talking to a man, right?
Yeah.
But you are standing.
Yeah,
It gives
Yeah.
you a lot of confidence.
yeah,
For example, if you're angry in the moment, like that moment, so I mean, you feel even confidence once you are angry. Even that you can feel. But if you give like that order, or if you try to be angry like that, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a big problem, right?
I feel that like, and I'm just talking as a man, I know as a woman, but I feel like as a man, when you're around men who are much taller than you, you can like feel the height difference. Kind of like when a person who's like overweight, they feel heavy, you know, because of the way they move and stuff like that. You can feel when you're big. I feel when you're shorter than other people, you can feel it. Like, I don't know, like it's like in the air or something like that, in the atmosphere. You can, because I have like taller family members than me, and I could just like feel it. Like there's that height difference.
Of
Yeah.
course.
Even if they don't say anything, I could just like feel the difference.
Exactly, and this is really important. Imagine it's 8.2 or 8.5 or 10 centimeter. And also, for example, once I wake up every morning, and the first thing is like I look at the mirror myself, you know, I see my legs, I enjoy it. You are in the beach, you can enjoy your legs. You know what I mean, Joseph? You wear pants, it looks great. You
Yeah.
are just a simple thing. You are driving car, it's not like that, it's just that. So and if you think the small thing, but which you have to live every single day the same, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it makes you so happy, and this is a feeling. How can I say? It makes you every single day. I mean, it's like 2018, end of 2018, I did my surgery. Since then, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Every single day.
Yeah, like it's like a relief.
Exactly.
Yeah, like a relief.
This is a feeling. I mean, this is not only I'm coming here. I put in myself in a uncomfortable situation. I suffer with my comfort. I pay money just to reach a few inches or centimeter. It's not like that. I mean, there's a lot of things in the background which you will say is worth it, is worth it, is worth it, is worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I just stopped lengthening a week ago, like a week ago today, and I look at the old pictures of my former height, and I just think to myself, like, forget whatever height I am now. I'm just so glad I'm not that height anymore. I just don't want to be that height anymore. So yeah.
And by the way, the good thing is that you will have the height forever.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Because you know, I mean, when you do the hair transplant, you can lose hair. When you do your nose job, you can, you know, like have a different nose again. When you do lipo, you can gain weight again.
Yeah.
But the height is something forever. Thank you so much, Joseph.
Oh, my pleasure.
Before I say goodbye, just one more question. Are you happy with your height right now? And do you think about another bilateral surgery?
Well, I don't know. Do I get the loyal patient discount? You know, if I come back to Live Life Taller, I don't know. Maybe we could talk about that. I am happy. I am happy with my height now, and people have said to me, "Do you want to do the tibia? Do you want to do another surgery?" What I would like to do is I want to wait a year, wait for me to recover, see how I am, back fully straight, and then make the decision if I want to do more. Because maybe I'll be happy with this. Maybe I want an extra 2 inches on the tibia. You know, we'll see.
Why not?
Yeah, so we'll see. I'm not even fully straight yet, and so far I'm very happy. Like I said, I'm just so glad I'm not my former height.
Great. I mean, we know you as a patient. You are a really great, disciplined patient.
Very.
So I can only talk good things about you, to be honest. If I will see you for the tibia, I will be happy. If not, I will be happy too, by the way.
Okay, yeah.
Because the most important thing is that you should say, Joseph, you are happy, and my life has changed. That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, what you decided, we are happy to see you here for nail
Yeah.
removal, or maybe for surprise tibia.
Of course, yeah, maybe, yeah. Who knows? Who knows what the future holds?
Exactly. So thank you for trusting us.
My pleasure.
Joseph.
My pleasure. Of course.
It's a really big pleasure,
Yeah.
and great for me. Also, too nice
Yes.
to meet you, guys. Thank you for watching this great video, and see you in the next video. Greetings from wonderful Istanbul, also to wonderful New York. Bye bye.